Hello everyone, today we're wrapping lines. So I'm going to do a separate video on fixing necklines because you have to do that a lot in the winter. And to actually really wrap the lines properly, that's something that we generally do out of season. So yeah, I'll just show you how to wrap the lines. Right, so there's bits of old backline on here. We don't want those. That can go in the bin. And and there's lots of fraying on this one. There's lots of fraying. So you see that? That's nasty. That's nasty. So somebody's already tried to hold that down with a crimp, but it's really loose. So I'm going to take some more of this old tape off here. So what you're going to need while you're doing this is you're going to need some crimps, you're going to need some duct tape, electrical or Gorilla tape. I'm using Gorilla tape because that's what I've got. Self-amalgamating tape and some spare back lines. Right, so, and as if there's old duct tape and stuff, you don't necessarily have to take it all off. You can actually burn it down with a lighter to make it a little bit neater and nicer. But with this one, I'd like to see what's underneath it. Okay, there's more fraying and another crimp. You might want some pliers. I don't need to worry about that because I've got my multi-tool. So this really long bit here, it's not attached to anything anyway. So I'm just going to snip that off. Right. So where that's coming away, I'm just going to put a couple of crimps just to hold it into place. So I'm going to put one close to the edge. One further behind. There's another little wisp of wire there. Right, so I'm going to now look for the other side. So we've had a bit of wire that's broken somewhere and come off. And I can see there's a strand missing. And it seems to go right underneath this lot. So I'm going to loosen these back lines, I'm going to move them around and take some tape off of the top of here. And I think there's more fraying going on underneath this lot. Well, so that's where my little repair was, and there's a bit of wire missing all the way up to here, but we go past there. That's a repair from a previous year, and As if you look here at the top, can you see that? Hang on. If you look here at the top, there's like one, well, not one strand of wire, but one wrap, and that's all that's left. And as if I hadn't have taken that tape off, I'd never have known. I could have wrapped all the way around that. So I'm guessing, ow, I'm guessing that's sharp. I'm guessing I could break that with me hands. Just a little bit of, yeah, well, with a bit of perseverance maybe. You're very unlikely to see this when you're wrapping lines, because it takes a while for them to get that bad, and we don't very often come across lines that are about to snap. But this one's about to snap. So I'm going to take the back lines off. I'm going to take the BGBs off, the D-rings. There shouldn't be D-rings on here anyway. I also found self-amalgamating tape on here underneath all the other tape. There shouldn't be self-amalgamating tape here. I'll explain why later. Right, so that's scrap. Okay, so this stuff is self-amalgamating tape or self-fusing tape. And what it does is it doesn't stick, it fuses to itself. So it's kind of like welds itself together. So we don't use that on these parts, on the loops on the end, because we join the lines together through here. And as if we do that, we can't separate them. So here it's best to use duct tape, gorilla tape, or electrical tape. Duct tape is something I typically use where there's fraying. So I started trying to go over that, but the fraying was so bad we had to bin the line. But let's say that was bare wire that's fraying there. What I would do is I would add a couple of pieces of duct tape. Duct tape, by the way, is rubbish. Everybody says duct tape, WD-40, you can fix anything. Well, you can fix pretty much anything in with duct tape, it's true. But as if you go back and look at it a week later, you're going to want to fix it again. So what duct tape gives us is bulk. So as if you've got a bit of fraying, you can get a bit of extra material on, which you may as well use the cheap tape for, which is going to stop any bits from poking up through and going into people's hands. So with fraying, you find either end of where the break in the wire is, and you put a crimp on, you put duct tape, then you put more tape over the top. So this loop you can tape all the way around with duct tape. It's what we used to do the whole lines with, but it's not very good. It doesn't last, and it's better to use something else. So I'm using Gorilla Tape at the moment, and the best way to do it, what people want to do is they want to put the whole roll on and wrap it around like this. You get it very, very uneven if you do it like that. So the best way to do it is to take a small piece, so try and hold the section that you're wrapping fairly straight. as straight as you can. And then just wrap it around like that. That's the duct tape, no! Then another small piece. So the main point of this is to stop people getting injured with bits of fraying wire, so we don't have to handle cold metal in the winter, and also to protect the lines a little bit. So with the Gorilla Tape or duct tape, you can go all the way up like this. It's quite difficult sometimes when you get to the top to hold it straight to get your little pieces on, but it's doable. Okay. Okay, so the self-amalgamating tape, I'll finish up wrapping this off later. Just get the video filmed first. Right, so from this point down, we use self-amalgamating tape. As if there's any nasty uneven bits, you can put a bit of duct tape on first. So anything that's loose can come off. And anything that's any loose crimps or anything nasty can come off. So from this point down, and what we do with the self-amalgamating tape, if you put it on like this and then stretch and wrap around. So nobody wants to do the stretching, by the way, with the guides. It's important, it helps it to fuse better, and also as if you don't stretch, it's going to be loose. If you stretch too hard, it will break. So just stretch, wrap around, stretch, wrap around. Okay, so there we've already got some self-amalgamating tape. It's a little bit tatty, but not so tatty as that I'm going to bother to take it off. Instead, I'm just going to wrap over the top of that. So more bulky is better, but as if the tape that's already there still looks good and tidy, then you can just leave it. But obviously, as if there's any gaps at all, then wrap around them. Also, the lines generally come with a coating, which can either be a black plastic coating or a clear one. If that's intact, you don't have to wrap it. It's just that all of the wire is covered, so no bare wire. And obviously, with there being 2 bits of bare wire there, I'd probably wrap the whole section, because otherwise the tape can slip up a bit, and you know, so don't just do a tiny bit around where it is, but also make sure it's tight around these areas, because then it won't slip. So the other thing to check is the back lines, as if there's anything that's really frayed. That's not really frayed, it's nothing. But as if you take a cigarette lighter and just burn any serious fraying off, and as if it's really bad, change the line and make sure there's 2 of them. As if there's none on a loop, then it's probably an extension. But the way you change them is dead easy. Dead easy. So you've got a loop in the end. You pass that through. You've got a D-ring on that side. That goes through the loop. Easy peasy. So we generally do this mostly in the summer. Before the beginning of quad training season normally, but the season's ended a bit early this year because all of our clients have got coronavirus or something. So we can get all this done early, which is great. That means we can enjoy the sunshine later in the year. Okay, well, that's it. Have fun wrapping lines.